Alright, so here's my Electrolux dryer. And if you're watching this, you probably have the same problem I do, where the door doesn't latch. Door's not aligned, so you have to pick it up and then drop it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shim the hinge. I tried adjusting this keeper here. That doesn't work. And adjusting this latch will not make it go up. So what I'm going to do is I am going to shim the hinge and hopefully fix this issue once and for all. There's information on the model, and I pulled these off, this panel off, and see if there was an adjustment there. There's no adjustment there. There's no adjustment there, and there's no adjustment there. So I am going to shim the hinge, and I'm gonna go ahead and start doing it. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to pull these 4 screws out, which hold the dryer door in place. So I'm just going to go ahead and take those 4 screws out, and you got to be careful because it'll drop right down. So when you have your last screw coming out, make sure you're holding on to the door. Alright, I unscrewed the door from the hinge, and that's what the attachment holes for the door look like. I was hoping there was a way to raise it, but there is not. So next step is to pull this hinge off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws, and they look like they're Phillips head, just standard Phillips head. I'm going to go ahead and take those out. I loosened up the 3 screws on the side and the 2 screws on the face of the hinge to get this hinge out. I unscrewed this little panel right here, and this has to come out also. It's just 1 Phillips screw, and it goes right here. So it sits there, and you got to pull that off to get the hinge off. And now I'm going to shim it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this aluminum tape, which I have. And it shouldn't be a whole lot of shimming involved. This tape's pretty thick. It's adhesive tape. You can buy it pretty much anywhere. I've had this for a while, and I was going to use a washer, but I keep thinking the washer is just going to fall down, so I'm just going to put a couple of strips of this aluminum tape, and I'm going to put it right about here on the bottom part to try to pull the hinge a little up and away, and I'm going to give it a shot and screw it back down and then see what the results are. This is the shim I made. I folded up the tape a little bit, and I made it couple of layers. Thick, as you can see. And then I put some tape on it. So I'm going to tape it right there. It's not a whole lot. It shouldn't need a whole lot, but I put it on the bottom side of the hinge, and then I'm going to screw it back in place, and we're going to see what we get. Alright, I ended up taking the chrome ring off to make things easier to install the hinge. So I went ahead and took it off. It wasn't too hard to take off. You just pop this little cover off that sits here, and just pulling on the ring will loosen it up and take it off. Now we have full access to the hinge screws. So I wanted to show how this chrome ring comes off. You have this one cover right here. I got a little screwdriver and I pried it. It comes right off. There's no hardware on this. And then to take the chrome ring off, you twist it counterclockwise and it pops right out. And now you have access to all the hinge hardware. It's a lot easier this way. I tried to do it the other way, but it's just easier to pop this sucker off. Like I said earlier, I took this chrome little plate. It actually holds the ring in place. Here's what the hinge looks like after I shimmed it. I would say, as you can see, it's probably about the thickness of maybe a dime. Probably not even that much, but I'm going to start with that and then go from there. Okay, I wanted to add that I drilled out the hole to the next size bigger to give it some room to move. The screw, I should say. So I went 7/32 drill, and I drilled out the bottom hole so that way it'll give the screw some movement in there, room to move. And let's see what happens. Okay, this is what I did. This plate, you drilled this hole on the plate to 1/4 of an inch. You drill this hole on the top of the plate to 1/4 of an inch. That way it'll give it room to move, because once you screw those in, it's going to straighten out the bracket, and you don't want the bracket straight. So those drilled out holes on the plate to 1/4 of an inch. And then you can see where I added that shim. Right here. Showed on the earlier video. So it's going to bring it out just that much. And then the top, the gap pretty much stays the same, but you can see as it comes out, you have a gap in there, and it's less than the size, the thickness of a dime. It is not a lot. As a matter of fact, let me get a dime. So I went and got a dime so you could see the thickness of the gap, and it's about the size of a dime. Barely fits in there. And then you come over here and there it is. No lifting anymore. So I'm moving it. Not a lot of play here. Like I said, that plate, those two holes, you drill them out to 1/4 of an inch. You add your spacer right there. I use tape, and you can see the gap on the top. You can't put a diamond there, but on the bottom, it's about the thickness of a dime. And then you come over here again, and there it is. No more problem. No more misaligned door. And here's the ring. Put the ring in. I'm going to add this cover plate there to lock it in place. And I'm going to add this cover. Here's the finished product with the chrome ring installed back. And everything's lined up. And there you have it. The Electrolux dryer door closing properly. All it needs is the holes on the bracket drilled out to 1/4 of an inch. Add a spacer, a shim, and there you have it, working. Job complete. Done.